Triangle, but it works for me.
You know what we should do?
Triangle?
Yeah, how do we do it together, though?
Yeah. That's absolutely spot on. That's the next step. Big Brother After Dark, indeed.
Yes, it's the first trimance. I think I put a 30-second countdown on.
You
Whatever.
did. You put a very long countdown.
Whatever. It's it's good things come to those who wait. And here we are. Oh man, I didn't even put my name up. Hello, everybody. It is March 29th, 2021. It is the beginning of week 5 in the Big Brother Canada 9 house. I'm Dave Mader, joined with Jaemeel Robinson, coming at you here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting to talk about this 13th episode of the season. And as mentioned, the beginning of this 5th episode, and the invisible HOH. Jaemeel, was it everything you hoped for and more? Is this the greatest twist in the history of Big Brother? And then we'll talk about the player who has the power.
In theory, yes. Did it live up to expectations? No.
Yeah. Why not? What fell short for you here on expectations? Exactly.
Well, the whole reason why you would have this kind of power is it emboldens someone to take like a shot where they can get no blood in their hands. We can see some hijinks and see how they interact with people because people don't know who it is. And what I got like really interesting people being put up. And the hijinks of people not knowing who it is didn't necessarily happen in the terms of people are like, oh, we figured out who it was. Or it was implied very early on. A little bit too quick, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't get enough hijinks. I want more hijinks.
In terms of like how the episode presented it to us, that you could kind of tell where it was going?
I methinks thou protest too much. Right?
Yes,
and,
right. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about.
I just want more hijinks.
Well, I want to talk about the winner of this power, the greatest player in the history of Big Brother.
I think you literally could go down as one of the greatest Big Brother players in history.
No.
She's one of the greatest players in history. She could. She's got potential, says Kiefer. The other half of Real Spice.
We're Real Spice. Yo. We're Real Spice.
Real Spice.
They are Real Spice. I think they're more like, or they could be Old Spice. Yeah. If we want to.
Old Spice.
Yeah, because Kiefer's old.
Yes.
Sure. He's younger than me, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Yes. Okay. Victoria, HOH. Okay. I am confused. I am frustrated. I'm here to tell you that I think that Victoria is not one of the best players ever, although she may be one of the more entertaining players I have ever seen in Big Brother Canada, or any version of Big Brother. I think she's really fun on this show, but I just don't see it. Victoria's path to the end, I see it maybe more than other players. I see Victoria winning maybe over to Sean, but I don't really know how she's going to do it.
Dave, if we were talking about Big Brother's performances and equating them to different martial arts styles, you would have Derek, which would be very technical and very calm and precise, like Tai Chi.
Derek Lavasser from BB16.
Yes, Derek Victoria would be more like drunken boxing, where it's just like, what the hell is she doing? Is she flat on her back? No, that's a move. Okay, I guess.
Barroom brawler. Yeah, like I would. Yeah, I think that she is a messy player, but she is a fun player. Now these nominations ultimately tonight, I think, are the wrong nominations. Austin and Braden end up here as our 2 nominees. I get that they're a target pair. Fair enough. And I get that Victoria is not feeling great about Austin. Fair enough. But Austin is not coming for you, Victoria.
No.
And neither is Braden.
Oh my gosh, no, he isn't.
Okay, like I think this was an emotional decision that was covered up with different things. I think her little session, she got like her little HOH. These are the people I'm considering putting up, and it was kind of like it made no sense because she had Austin and Braden on one side, and then she had Beth, Ty, and Jed on the other. That was her next option. Like I guess I'd go for one of the two. She ultimately settles on Austin and Braden. Why?
Because she really wants to work with Ty and Jed, even though they're clearly in a 3-person strong alliance with Beth. It's like boggles the mind.
Because
really makes no sense.
Right, Victoria. I don't know if you don't remember, but when you got LaToya out, they were not too happy with you. That I just don't understand. I get that you want to stay tight with Kiefer, and I don't know how much say Kiefer had over it ultimately being Austin and Braden that go up here instead. But I just think it's the wrong move all around. Like Austin and Braden will continue to be targets. They were public targets going into this week. Putting them up secretly seems like an immense waste. Like it seems like why?
Just imagine, like if there was no invisible HOH, do you think that anyone would be technically afraid to put up Austin and Braden? Not a single soul. Not a single soul.
No, I don't even think that
HOH.
Like only Rohan would, like unless she's trying to pin this on Rohan, that only he would secretly put them up because everybody else would publicly put them up.
Yeah.
Maybe that's her thinking. I get that she's obviously a smart player. Okay. Like she's got different forms of intelligence, I think, that exhibit themselves at different times. I think her mental acuity is that a word? Acuity. Aptitude. It's late and I'm running off some limited sleep. Okay. But she could count the rocks better than anybody, better than Tara, pretty close to Tara. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And Tara. They tied, but then Victoria won the tiebreaker.
Yes, with the 41 versus 51.
How many minutes it had been. So, like, okay, for her to be able to count all those and then also be so close to the minute count, I don't know if you can call it luck or you can call it a form of intelligence, but
or production
wanted her. Do you think the production wanted Victoria to have this?
I don't know.
Like, why not honestly, Tara though? Tara would have been good.
Tara would have been the more interesting choice, honestly, because I think Tara would take more of a swing at people.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting too that we saw afterwards that Tara, in the confusion and the paranoia, was feeling loyal to the oddballs when push came to shove, and she didn't know who had the power, who could put her up. That at least when she was having that conversation, she's like, "No, I'm gonna stay loyal to the oddballs." And her and Tina have been in this sort of middle spot too, right? So I thought that was interesting that they're saying, yeah, well, why not put up Jed and Ty? They see if they don't have the power, put them up. I'm still confused as to why Victoria didn't. I get what you're saying. She thinks she can work with them long term, but then why not tell them the truth here? Why keep it from them?
No, because she thinks that. So she trusts them, but she doesn't trust them. That's ultimately what I get from this at all. Like,
okay. Does she feel like she can use them more effect than she can use the alternative here, which was Austin and Braden? Austin and Braden, ultimately, like even like okay, let's say I go full on oddball. I'm Victoria. It comes down to final 5. It's me, Rohan, Braden, Austin. Who am I forgetting?
You're asking me. It's so late.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, let's just say it's that group of people, or Tara. Let's say Tara is an oddball too. I don't know if she's or not, but like throw Tina, Tara. Like where Victoria knows she's not very high up there, and I think that if I have a criticism of Austin and Braden, it's that apparently at least in Austin's case, this 2 weeks of slop can't take it. I think that they come across as spoiled, sort of snobbish kids to me. Not to call them kids, they're adults, but like they feel kiddie to me. Like they especially Braden, more so than Austin.
Braden seems like a big kid.
He seems
Just-
like a really just a kid, and he just like, I don't like this, and he's just he's a little bit whiny. Whereas Austin, I get she's incredibly smart, at least book smart, and she's got things going there, but she's also not that smart to make Victoria feel comfortable. She has not put in the work with Victoria, clearly. And
she has not. They haven't. Brayden and Austin have not put in the work with anyone. The only people it seems like they had put in work with was Kyle. Austin put in work with Kyle at like the end, and then he was voted out. Like, does she have a strong relationship with Ro? Not really. Does she have a strong relationship with Victoria? Not real. No, sorry. No.
definitely
Does she have a
not.
strong relationship with Tina and Tara? They were was it connected through circumstance, not through like an actual relation of talking, and certainly not Ty, Jed, and Beth. So what are you doing in the Big Brother house? Like, I know you're close to Brayden, but like, you can move around. People have been saying wherever Austin goes, Brayden goes. Wherever Brayden goes, Austin goes. They are inseparable, which it's like you can't win the game with just a two-person alliance. You
Yeah.
can't.
Well, it's like
Right?
a showman's, but not a romantic showman's. It's not a bromance. I don't know what term to assign to it, but they're a straight up pair. They are too loyal, and they're not putting the work in. Like, it's fine that if people know you two are each other's ride or die, that's fine. But you both respectively have to work the game. And I think that the only thing that really Brayden has going for him is that he's aligned with Austin, and Austin has the respect of some of the biggest competitors in this house, or perceived competitors in Austin. In Jedson and Tashawn and Beth, who have won
victory among the three.
One victory, one veto among the three of them, and he barely won the veto. But whatever, he's one of the greatest ever. He's here to win comps.
I know I can do this. I came here to win comps, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Eventually, he's got to come here and do it. Eventually, watch out.
How is it that we're looking back at this season, and was it the people that the non-physical threats are the ones that are dominating this game, right? Kiefer
Well, that's what's great about it.
3 victories. Victoria has what, 4 at this point?
Victoria has quite a few. Victoria has won a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Definitely been the star of this show is Victoria.
Yes. And Ro has won, and Austin has won twice. Right? Austin has won twice.
We're still, well, I guess we're halfway through right now, right? This is the beginning of week 5, so we're
like,
in.
Jury's
right around the corner. I think it's after this week, right? This will be the last non-jury week.
I think so.
And I guess maybe, okay, if you're Victoria and if you're going to give her the benefit of the doubt that this wasn't just an emotional move, that she's mad that Austin doesn't talk to her enough, that this had something to do with like, well, why not break up Austin and Brayden now before jury? Because if either of them get to the end, they're an automatic vote for one another. Maybe that's worth it from that standpoint.
But no, like
not more than like Jed and Ty and Beth. Yeah. Like, I don't get that.
So you have a duo that you're worried about, but a trio you have no problems with. Like, okay, you get rid of Austin and Brayden is free to pick up, but who are you picking him up with? Are you picking him up with Kiefer and having another trio? Are you like leaving him to get picked up by Tina and Tara, which I don't really see? Like I think shortly after Austin is eliminated, Brayden will be eliminated, because Brayden is gonna be moping around. He's gonna be Josh 2.0, right? There's no benefit. It'd make more sense to eliminate Brayden, right? If you're going to take out the 2, I'm talking about like in terms of Victoria's like going forward, and you have Austin there, and you can possibly put something together with Austin, Victoria, right? That's a trio that makes more sense in terms of competing with Jed and Ty, right?
Yeah, right.
I
agree.
It's keeping the nuclear arsenal at least on an even playing level. But once again, you have to ask yourself the question: you're putting all that work into picking up someone when you could just take a shot at the biggest threat, which is Jed, Ty, and Beth, but you're just letting that go.
Well, if you get one of the three out, it's like, what's the downside even for Victoria? I don't understand. Like, okay, like as long as you don't get found out, which I think she could have potentially done here. Like, there's no reason that she couldn't have gotten away with this, unless she just can't keep the secret. Like, it's hard. Like, well, we saw here she tells Kiefer tonight. As far as the show presented to us, she only tells Kiefer.
Well,
only
technically,
Kiefer
she didn't
knows.
tell Kiefer. Kiefer found out pretty quickly. I think Kiefer deduced it based upon her comments and the vote, like who was picked, because obviously he was just HOH, so it's easy to put him on slop, right? And then you put your targets up on slop, which would be, if it was like Ro and Vic, then maybe you can say something, or if it was Kiefer and Ro or Kiefer and Austin, then maybe it might be Tina, or it could be Beth. But the fact that it was Austin and Braden, like, automatically just kind of clues it in that it has to be Victoria. Has to be.
Right. Okay. Like, you don't think
Everyone
that?
else-
Like I
everyone
said, I'm like, there's no way you can keep this a secret. Okay. Even when there's the one hinky vote, they always figure it out. Sometimes I can't even, like, there's been the odd time they've been wrong about something, but they almost always figure it out by the end of the week. And
everyone is too loyal for people not to know where the votes go. That's it. It's cut and dry. The one thing you could say about this, that there isn't one major alliance, yes, but at the same time, like, there's been sides that have been clearly defined, and the people have let their intentions known pretty, like evidently who they're gunning for. So whenever you see anything kind of crazy, you're like, well, that makes no sense, aka that's Victoria. Right?
right, that any kind of chaotic move is Victoria. Plus, they know Victoria has won, and winners that will come to mind when you think about who could have won. However, we saw that Ty and Jed say, well, she's the greatest liar in the world if she is the winner. What do you make of that?
So, full disclosure, folks, I saw the first 15 minutes of the episode and the last 15 minutes of the episode.
Well, okay. There was probably a part you missed here in the middle. She got to go to Wendy's. Okay, so she gets called into the diary room, and while everyone's playing cricket in the backyard, she sneaks off into the Wendy's room, gets a video message from her best friend Natalie, who's different than her best friend who's married, who's like her husband's brother, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you can you have. I guess you have more than one best friend, but
I had more than one best friend.
You can have more than one, I guess. But are they really the best anymore, or are they, they sharing that honor? Yeah. So she got to go. She got to go in there, and she had to sneak it out of the Wendy's room back into the HOH room, and that's where she got to eat it. I was like, how the hell did you get away with that? With no one seeing you, no one picking up on that. It would have to be production if they did get away with that.
She should have went to the ball pit and just sunk to the bottom of the balls and just.
Well, speaking of which, yeah, okay. And there's another moment tonight where there was it was Austin speaking with Rohan in the ball pit about who won, and they're kind of whispering into each other. And then Victoria pops out of the balls. I didn't know she was there. Right. And I don't know if this is a metaphor that they don't suspect her, or she's lying in the weeds. It's I don't know what
Don't you expect by the end of the season that she's gonna have red lipstick, and she's gonna, let me talk to you about my scars, because she's an agent of chaos.
She's Chaos Cass, perhaps. She's got this was not what I want. I don't get you, Victoria. I just don't get you, because again, I
honestly, Dave, if concerning the live feeds during this time period, there's a lot more crazy stuff that could have happened. Straight up.
Right. Because I think like, yeah, like one of those three going is what's good, what's best for the show. I guess one of those three going or Braden goes. But I don't think Austin going out this way.
Austin going is not good TV.
I just don't think, especially that, like, and then what Victoria is going to admit it at the end as she's like walking out the door if she does end up being the evictee. Is, you know, just to, because you didn't talk to me enough. I can see Victoria doing that. She's very petty, it seems.
Yes, Kyle Petty. What would be best for the show is like Ty and like when you look at how the cast was assessed out, there were two things that you were hoping for. One, that there would be two opposing forces that would like be attacking yourself, right? And you'd be like, oh, Jed and Ty, it would be awesome if they were on opposite sides and they were kind of facing each other. No, we didn't get that. We got, you know, two different sides of the house with very different characteristics. We saw a little bit of back and forth, but it's kind of been thrown to the wayside. It hasn't gone through. Now we're getting into this game and we're getting near to the end, and we see these two strong guys who have practically done nothing throughout the entire game. They have not really like controlled via like HOH or POV. They've only shown influence and not really exerted their will. And we're getting closer to the end. What people really want to see, what we want to see is good TV, is see them pitted against each other, and then Beth has to choose and vote for one over the other. That's what people want to see. I want to see that. I want to see the triangle have to pick a corner, right?
It's a unique little triangle, but it works for me.
You know what we should do?
Triangle?
Yeah, how do we do it together though?
Such a great line. Oh my gosh.
Well, I don't. Yeah. I hope so. It looks like they're both going to go to jury. All three of these, or actually, Beth is like this other player. I'm like, whatever, Beth. I don't.
They're kind of like, hey, at the very least, we're going to be in jury together.
Yeah. If we were like, just to get out the least entertaining players right now, I would want to get Braden out just from an unentertaining level. I want to get Beth out from an unentertaining level because I just don't think she's good for the dynamic of the game.
And then next, what's your no entertainment trio? Is it Tina or Tara?
It's Tina, I think.
Really? I think Tina's smarter enough of a player, and right now she once again like. Because the inactivity of like the middle isn't being really focused on, like she has nothing to do, right? Until like she's in a holding pattern until things get a little bit spicy. So not spicy. Not spicy
I think
we're real spicy. We're real spicy.
Lord. Until things happen, there's nothing for her to do. Because who's next, right? Who's going to be next? If let's say Austin stays, she's not taking a shot at Victoria, even if she found out it was Victoria, right? It'd be a waste of HOH. It would make more sense.
Someone else is going to go after her.
Yeah, someone else. She would go after Ty and Jed, right?
Yes.
So, like, once again, if you're Tina, you're just like, well, I got nothing to do. I got time to kill. Right.
So like, well, okay, like Ty, Jed, and Beth, they remind me a lot of like of another Austin and the Nolan twins from USA 17, where that was like two twins, Liz and Julie Nolan, who were teamed up with this guy Austin. Austin was in a showmance with Liz, I believe, but they were a trio effectively, right?
Yeah,
an unbreakable trio for that because of that reason. And I think like they let those three get into jury, and then it was kind of like this mess. Like the rest of the players are like, oh no, we've let all three of them in here, and what do we do now? And I think that they're going to be kicking them. I think Victoria is going to be regretting this, but
there's going to be a lot of regret with Victoria. I think when we look back, I still think that there's a far chance she might win. As crazy as that sounds,
She could win. She
Crazy.
could. Okay, yeah, I can
win.
totally see a path she wins.
I am so good at this game.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
She is so good.
Have you you never hear the greats talk about how good they are, right?
No, she's not the most
while they're
humble
playing the
player.
game. No, like Dr. Will was not humble, but Dr. Will also did not, while he's playing the game, is like, man, I'm good, right? He,
True, like Derek.
Afterwards,
Derek never pounded his own chest or anything like that.
He was all business, right?
He was all business. He just did it. Dan Giesling,
right? He'll talk about what he did, but he's like, I must be the you know who she sounds like? She sounds like Muhammad Ali. I must be the greatest. I'm so pretty. No one could touch me.
Well, there is that argument. Yeah, you or the Dane Ruperts or these types of players. Yes, the more bold, the Cody Calafiores, if you will.
But like,
Congratulations, Cody.
Are we gonna hear congratulations, Victoria?
Maybe.
Like, how would you deal with that ego after she wins Big Brother? She would be insufferable
For a couple of years, yeah, at least. I think she would.
For a couple of years, if she does what she does, we see on television, and she wins, she is going to every reunion. She'll go to everything. She'll be on Rob Has a
Yeah, she probably will be. I could see her
all the time
springboarding herself, because what is she? She's like a social service worker, right, or something in that realm. Is she going back to that career after this, or does she have a future in television or as an influencer or something along those lines?
Well, she might have trouble getting back to work with some of the comments she made.
We gotta find. I gotta delve into that. Maybe she isn't one of the best.
Your ass is grass.
Okay, so what else do I need to tell you about this episode? Because I know you didn't get to see all of it. All right, we saw that Victoria won the slot pass as well.
Yes, she did. Yeah.
So, come on, it's all coming up. Victoria, she got the slot pass.
People, I would be surprised if people talk about production being involved. I would be surprised.
What about Tina? Was this whole thing where Tina was the furthest from? Did you see this part of the competition?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, she did.
Yeah, so she got a letter from home, but she at least told two other people in this episode. I don't know if that was a secret or not, or how secret that is even at this point, but I would like to find that.
She should reveal it to everyone, because at the very least, people will know for sure that you are not the HOH because you were the farthest away.
Yeah, that would not be something you need to hide. And it's not like she did anything she did hurt anybody else, or her taking that ability didn't.
Because technically, with that information, you know that two people are not HOH. And that's
Tina and Kiefer. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. They kept trying to give them other temptations, like, we'll give you a party. The slot pass was another. Letter from home. That was all three.
There should have been more. Honestly.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Victoria in this HOH. I was really hoping I knew it wasn't going to be, but I would have loved to have seen Tara win this, as mentioned. I'm so good in this game. The paranoia. I did at least from a TV perspective, I did like how this played out, where everybody was scared, and Jedson and Ty and just them trying to scramble. That was the good part of this. But it
saw a little bit of scrambling. Yes.
The scrambling, they kept trying to confront in the episode Braden and Austin, because those are the two, and more Austin, but they kept going we have our pitch, because they thought the reason Victoria not telling her was that Victoria's not the HOH. It must be Austin, and the reason we don't know is because she's waiting to reveal it to us at the HOH ceremony. But no, it's so they both so we saw here that Ty and Jed they're trying to make deals with Austin. Austin was and Braden were very skeptical. They were like, this seems like a misdirect. This doesn't feel genuine. But I also think that this also showed that Austin and Braden aren't taking these opportunities as they come, because you don't necessarily have to win this visible HOH. You just have to play it well and make deals with your former enemies as much as possible, and to see and then shake that information out next week if you can survive.
Yeah.
right? You have to be willing to like take a little bit of a risk here, I think, by, hey, let's make peace across the board. I would go up. I would, if I was in the house and I didn't know who the HOH was, I think you have to go and, except for maybe Kiefer, because he can't be, and maybe Tina, if you're 100, she got the letter. I know she didn't, and just okay. I'm going to assume you are the HOH. Here's my pitch. If you are the HOH, right? Why don't put me up? If I did that with everybody, I feel like that work can never hurt me as a player.
True.
Right. And then I would say, and reverse. Let's say I'm the HOH. You can pretend, and then you build trust. I think like, what else do you have to do every day in that house but put work in with every relationship you have there? Like maybe that's too easy for me to say, but
Austin and Braden are not doing that at all.
Well, then they deserve what they got here. Like really.
Yeah.
They're thinking more from like a competitor standpoint, but I know that they're not physical threats, they're mental threats, or at least Austin is. But you still got to put the social work in. You got to put the alliance work in, and they're definitely not. Like
at least Roe is. Roe's putting in some social.
Because remember when Julie was here? Remember Julie?
Mm-hmm.
Week 1, like if she had stayed around, I don't know. Austin may have been more powerful because I feel like but they all cut Julie. Because she was too erotic.
Julie would have been a connective tissue with Austin and Victoria.
True.
As well.
Yes.
Because Victoria, we didn't really see it on the television, but Victoria was very tight with Julie, and she felt very betrayed when Julie was excommunicado.
Right, and she was the one that votes to keep her, as I recall.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she was on the wrong side of the vote. Plus, her ally was taken out of the game.
And yet she's not in a terrible position, even though I don't agree with every move she's making.
Well, I think because she's like an agent of chaos, people are like, well, as long as we kind of point her in a direction that's not us, then it's fine.
Right. Rohan didn't know what was going on tonight.
Super smart Ro.
He was like, "Oh, I'm trying to read everybody and trying to figure it out." We only checked in with Rohan maybe once or twice. He was always clueless, didn't know what was going on. But he always seems like he's confident, and he seems to know what's going on. But then you talk to him or get diary room sessions, and he doesn't know what's going on. He's kind of along for the ride.
Profession.
Especially without Kyle, I think he's like in the current now.
Yeah. And I think that's where like Braden is probably going to be next week.
Yeah. It was quite something. What else happened? Kiefer said, "I hate this game." Oh, I should have put that as a clip. The whole reveal to Kiefer. You're saying Kiefer kind of figured this out before this segment, or this may have been a little bit staged.
Talking with Victoria figured it out.
Right. They were playing cricket in the backyard, as I mentioned. That's when she went to Wendy's. Spicy V went to Wendy's she never gets a spicy chicken combo. Spicy V. I always feel like this is a missed opportunity for cross branding and sponsor.
Sponsor.
Yeah.
She dyes her hair red and she becomes a new Canadian Wendy's girl.
Yeah. Okay. There was a scene here tonight, Jaemeel, with Rohan speaking with Jedson and Ty about, is it you? Everyone thinks it's either Rohan. Everyone thinks it's Ty. Everyone kept saying Tashawn. It's Tashawn. And he's like, "What? Everyone thinks it's me, but it's not me. What's going on?" And he's just smiling. They're like, everyone's like, "You were smiling when you came in." I'm like, Tashawn is always smiling.
He's
a smiley guy. That's what he does.
Yeah.
But I guess that was something somebody went on, and how these ideas can sometimes spread, or the thought can spread. So, but their knees were all torn up. Like they were all cut up, like from a competition or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the veto. I don't know. But Jane was not impressed. She says, "You can't put a Band-Aid on those knees because you got them exposed on television with all that scabbing. Not tasteful."
That's why they should have
I got to report it. It was in the news here at the house, so I had to report it. all these pitches with Ty and Jed going to Austin Bray. They're like, we know it's you. We know it's you. But I didn't think it was bad that they were trying to appeal to them. Like, what do you got to lose? Like, you're not gonna hurt yourself anymore with those two. So as long as you don't give them information, you shouldn't. Just try to build a relationship. Try to build some kind of working thing where even down the line you can work together, even if it's not right now in this game. You know, at least a rapport. Victoria and Ty were talking. Victoria was not giving it up to Ty, but you know, and she kept making all these looks at the camera. But I think she's doing this because she's self-aware enough to know she's on the show and how to play to the cameras. And I think she's gonna be popular when she gets out of this. I think
she'll be the crazy person. She'll be the crazy person.
Right. Well, there's been crazier.
Sure.
You know. Austin talks to Vic. Did you see this conversation?
No, I did not.
So Austin tried to have a conversation with Victoria. She's like, I hope it's you. Austin saying this to Victoria because, you know, the saddest thing is if I go up or you go up or whatever. And because we're like the bigger targets, why would someone do that with an invisible HOH? And then Victoria gets out there and she goes to the bathroom and she's like, now you want to talk to me, Austin? Now you want to be my friend? How dare you? You know, and it just gives it away. Like, this is why she does this move tonight.
Kyle Petty. Kyle Petty.
Just petty. It was petty. And
yeah, it's just so basic.
So basic. Okay. What did you think about her naming herself a have-not? Or did you know that?
I did know that. Once again, she thinks she's a lot smarter than she actually is. It's like, oh, I'm slopped two weeks in a row. And then eventually she gets up and she leaves in a huff. I'm like, I ain't buying that. No one else is leaving like that, right? That
Austin did.
Victoria left before Austin.
Oh, okay. Victoria and both Victoria and Austin are have-nots 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Well, Brady,
but Victoria doesn't care. She's like, I can just go, even though she has this never not pass or whatever. She doesn't. Like, I don't need to play it. Like that's a player I respect, you know. Like, remember Russell Hantz? You know, say what you will about him, but he wasn't afraid to starve out there in Survivor. He wasn't afraid to go without.
Like, yeah,
he's like, I'll smash our food because them all getting hungry only benefits me because I can take it or whatever. But Austin clearly can't. Austin's like, she didn't even want to be touched tonight at the ceremony. Don't even touch me. Don't even touch me. I can't.
Oh my gosh! Did you like the presentation of the nominations with the spotlight?
I did, actually. I thought that was kind of neat. I thought that the invisible person walking down the stairs and coming into the living room and then even merging onto the TV, I thought it was fine. You know, like, it was as good as, it was more memorable than most HOH ceremonies. So I was fine with it. You know, like, this twist and what this player did with it, I think, is sort of the more unfortunate part. Did this clip play?
This is a power you don't want to waste. I cannot mess this up.
You kind of messed it up.
But you did.
But you did. I'm sorry, Spicy V. You know, I'm not a hater, but this was not the move. It was just I get Austin maybe, but Braden, pointless. Or get Braden out, put Braden and Beth up. What would happen then? That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, these are the dead weight characters. These are the ones we don't need. I would want to keep Beth over Braden just for an entertainment.
Tina and Tara would just, like, they would see the writing on the wall. They're like, they're coming after the middle now. They're coming after the fringes. And soon they're going to be coming after us. We got to move up our timeline by like a week or two.
Well, do you feel like Victoria is maybe not intentionally, but is the way she's playing is creating sort of these cluster alliances, that there's sort of like these networks of trios and pairs across the whole house right now? Because, you know, you got like your Tara, Tina, and Kiefer, but then you got now your Kiefer and Victoria, and then on the other side you got, you know, obviously got Ty, Jed, and Beth, and then but then Ty, Jen, Beth are also with Kiefer in this Sunsetter thing. So you add up all those different cross alliances, and it gets pretty complex. But you have to show that onto a show, and 3 times a week, you do have enough time to explain this if it is in fact that complex. So that's the only thing I guess I'm looking for the silver lining of how this move is going to play out. But I also kind of want to look ahead this week in terms of what week 5 really will be. And we can get into the spoilers and talk about the veto. And Jaemeel, do you have the players of the veto? Do you know all that? We can look it up. Why don't you fact check that if you can for a second? I'm going to plug that. If you're just leaving for us tonight, thanks for watching. We're gonna kind of wrap up episode 13 here and look ahead. If you don't know already, we do other podcasts here, and we have a network of podcasts. We're up all the night, all the time doing them. So we have a Star Trek channel called Live Long in Podcast, where we talk about Star Trek on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. On Tuesdays we do Deep Space Nine shows. We are watching every show in order. On Wednesday we watch original series episodes with my dad. We're going to be doing what are we doing this week? We're doing Bread and Circuses. And then we do Star Trek Radio Theater on the weekends. We just did Bride of Chaotica on this past Saturday. That was a ton of fun.
Brilliant Bride.
Yes. I really recommend, if you haven't already, check out the edited audio version. It is it's a whole different experience. I put a lot of work into it on Sunday. And I'm quite proud of it, actually. So check that out. And we're going to be doing a piece of the action next on that channel. The 1920s gangster Star Trek original series. So my dad's going to be a special guest for that. Also, check out our other channel, Trivial Debates, where yesterday we had an episode hosted by Chris Seymour. We had Jaemeel, my son Eamon, and we had Adam Woodward competing. I won't spoil it, but it was quite the episode. Check all that out. And here on Super Mader Brothers, we also cover other shows like Westworld, Survivor. We've done Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's all kinds of things. It's entertainment, and we love it. So check all that out. And with no further ado, we are going to jump into the spoilers. So if we're losing you now, goodbye. But we hope you stick around to talk about it all. All right, and let's get the wafu. Okay, Jaemeel.
Yep.
I know that there's a veto winner. Okay, maybe we should just get right to it. Who is it?
Okay. One half of Showtime, The Roe Show.
The Roe Show. His second veto in 2 weeks.
Yep. He is a bad man.
Yes.
Bad man.
He's a bad man?
He's a bad man. He's a very bad man.
Why are you saying this? Because he won twice?
I mean like he's good.
Oh, facetious. Okay. He's so bad he's good. I get you.
He's so bad he's good.
You were very convincing there. I was like, why is he so bad? What did he do?
What did he do?
What did he do? Has the veto? Has he had? Is he going to use it? Has he used it?
No, he's not going to use it.
No,
no, he's not.
Why not?
Not gonna use it.
I would use it.
Oh, that's a whole complicated matter. Okay, so what happens is prior to the veto, when it's announced that he's actually doing it, so the people who are participating, and I couldn't find the list, but off the top of mind, it was Austin, Braden, obviously, Roe, Victoria, and one other person that they felt would not use the veto, right? So they felt strongly that they had a 4 to 5 chance of having the veto used. They had a conversation with Roe, and Roe's like, "Yeah,
who's they?"
Braden and Austin has a conversation with with Roe about, hey, if you win, you gotta please take us off, which doesn't make any sense. They kept repeatedly throughout like that day kept on saying, well, you got to take us off. And it's like, that's not how the veto works. You guys are individual players, individual. And they kept referring to themselves as a single unit that could be taken off the block. Right. Anyways.
What? No.
Yeah, they literally were talking to people, and they were saying, using the term, you have to take us off.
You can only take one off.
Exactly. Which was like, Okay, I guess at this point they didn't care who got taken off, just at least one of them.
Sure. Well,
Right?
I know that you can use that expression sometimes, say like we, or you have to take one
It
of
just
us
seems like a
down.
nonsensical one because honestly, their best bet for both surviving is for Austin to be taken down, Braden to be left with someone else, and you could at least like whoever gets put up instead. So if it's Roe, well, it can't be Roe because he won POV.
Right.
But if it's
Right.
like Tina and Tara, there could be understanding that you could get rid of one of them. If it's Braden, not Braden, sorry, Jed, Ty, or Beth, that's even better for you, right? That like if any of those touch the block against Braden is staying. In my
Well,
opinion, Braden is staying.
if Victoria was forced to put up a replacement, who would she pick?
Probably Tara.
Probably Tara. Why? Why did she go with? Why she doesn't like Tara?
Because she has no alliance with Tara, and there's straight up some people that don't like Tara.
They don't like Tara.
They don't like Tara.
She's not gonna be a winner pick.
Why Tara annoying?
Oh, she's annoying. Oh.
Yes.
She's in my
Jed
draft.
and Ty are
Uh-oh.
not a fan. Jed and Ty are not fans
Jen and Ty are not fans.
of Tara. Yeah.
Is because they know? Is it because they know her? Her what's her? Sorry, I'm trying to find the Tara quote. Here it is.
Let the snakes fight the snakes.
It's because they know about that. Let the snakes.
She also
fight.
makes comments about them. She's in real mommy mode, so she'll make a
Oh,
comment
yeah, so
she'll make a comment like, "Oh, you have clothes in your bed and it's so messy. I guess your house must be like an absolute like mess." And it's like, dude, I'm here. Like, this doesn't mean that I'm messy at home. That just means I have a mess here. All right. It's like little comments like that she'll be making, right? And we haven't really heard that much, like being there hasn't been a big deal made about some of the things, but like Latoya said some things that were considered very topical in terms of what she said. There was a lot of fat shaming with people, especially with Kiefer.
Fat shaming from Tara.
No, from Latoya. I'm making a reference that there are things that are said that we don't see on screen, but you can see people's reaction towards it. Victoria has been repeatedly caught saying the R word.
R.
You gotta look.
What's the R word? Sorry. Hold on. Let me Google
RET. Looking it up is so great.
Oh.
Especially someone who works in social services, not technically the term that you should be using or caught using repeatedly.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not.
Not,
Not
right. And people are very sensitive about that word usage. And if you work in that industry, you are known to not use that term at all. Right? Differently abled, special needs. There's a whole variety of terms you would use, and R1 is not one of them. Regardless.
Yeah. No, especially considering what she does. But yes, absolutely.
Regardless, right? Let me kind of backtrack in terms of details regarding Victoria and her subtle ways she kept on the DL who was HOH. Like, people would like focus on what she's doing and like say things and see how she reacts. Like, man, whoever this HOH is the smartest person in the world. And she'll just kind of perk up, right? And she'll just get a little bit excited. And it's like, come on. Whenever like how people watching on the feeds, how they figured out she was HOH was she would have a discussion and then the person would leave and she's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Oh no, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, she would talk to herself, right? She didn't like talk directly to the camera, but she would just kind of talk to herself. It became pretty evident. Like, honestly, if feeds came back like immediately, we would have immediately known. Right? Immediately known.
Please do not react.
She can't help it. She's spicy bee.
She's got an ego. I think that's ultimately her greatest Achilles heel is Victoria's ego and her pride and vanity.
So literally almost the entire house knows that she's HOH.
Right.
Almost the entire house knows that she's HOH.
Okay, so Rohan has the veto. He knows let's say he knows 100% it's Victoria. If I take Austin down, Victoria's gonna put up Tara, which is not are Tara and Rohan, they seem to have a good relationship.
But they don't necessarily have one that's like locked in.
Right. But who's now that Ro doesn't have Kyle, I don't know who Ro has.
Ro has been spending a lot of time with Jen and Ty. A lot of time.
So that's
to the point where Kiefer does not necessarily feel comfortable. And he expressed that, and then Jen and Ty felt strongly like, why doesn't he trust us? And they're spending a lot of time with Ro.
And Kiefer's jealous.
Well, also Kiefer should be sensible to know that, hey, I might get replaced.
Right? Yeah, right. Well, so a lot to unpack with that, because now if Rohan is now maybe going to become a number for them, maybe instead of Kiefer, like that would be something.
What else?
Kyle's been betrayed.
Beth and Ro were talking, and Ro had this just recently happened. Ro just had a conversation, and they were talking about the understanding of how the final dynamics would be if the triangle got to the end, and the two guys would probably stick together. So they were talking about, hey, eventually we're gonna have to take a shot at those two and split them up. And it seemed that Beth was like very receptive to this information, but then Ro went and asked, when do you think you want to get this done, taken care of? Like when do you want to take a shot? And Ro was kind of applying some pressure that was unnecessary. And then Beth turned around and just blabbed it all to Jen and Ty. So they're now focused on Ro right now, Jen and Ty.
Oh, he went too sus.
Yes, he was too sus.
So sus.
So sus.
It's so sus.
It just everyone knows, and everyone is kind of, except Victoria and Brayden are not quite sure.
Victoria and Brayden. Yeah, like
Austin and Brayden. And they haven't necessarily been campaigning. They've been kind of just staying together.
Then they don't deserve to be here, quite frankly. I'm fine. I'm fine with this result. It's going to be a dull week, I think, but I guess, and
the only excitement's coming from like Victoria overthinking her role. Like legit, when I said you were like, it seems kind of boring, or the choices in terms of either having one side, which is Austin and Brayden versus Jen and Ty and Beth. There was another person that she was thinking of putting up, and I want you to guess who it is. And I bet you you wouldn't choose the right person. I'll give you 3 guesses, and you won't choose the right person.
Well, like it would have to be someone I wouldn't suspect. Like it would have to be who's she close to? I don't even know. I guess Ty? Like
no.
Or Jedson, or
no.
Like,
one more.
Beth? Like,
no, herself. She was thinking of putting up herself.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Grass is grass.
I don't. What?
So she wants people to keep her name out of their mouths, but in her mouth, it's fine.
Where's that?
I'm giving you a chance to get it. I kind of queued it up for you. Oh my gosh. Like to throw people off her scent, she was seriously thinking about putting herself up.
I hope this tells you how important it is to keep my name out of your mouth.
Damn right.
Oh my gosh.
Even your own mouth.
So people online were like, debating how that would work, and honestly, some of the scenarios that were being kind of thought around would have been awesome. Would have been awesome. Let's say she puts herself up, and because of the vote, right, there would be 8 people voting this week. So there could be a 4-4 tie.
And she has to break down her own tie.
Break her own tie.
It would just like the whole house would be thrown for a loop, because if I figured that out at the end of the week that one of the nominees was the actual HOH, I'd be like, then we have to get rid of this person next. Like if you were forced to show your hand in the tie, like
Person is crazy.
yeah, I'm
Because like
that's
from the eviction ceremony, what are you gonna like? Do you automatically assume that the person's gonna like keep themselves? Do you,
yeah, like it's such a, or I don't even know
It's
if you
like
can. It's like trying to
everyone
vote for
go-
yourself in Survivor.
it's like everyone head into the diary room and quickly come and state who we're gonna do a revote. I guess that would be the best way. It's like we're gonna do a revote and have everyone vote, including both nominees, to ensure that the secrecy of the HOH remains.
Right, but everyone would figure out that it's one of the 2 nominees at that point, because
That they would only do that move if it was.
it would, the only reason it would be necessary.
Yeah.
Right, so there would be no way to get away with it.
It's like
yeah,
could the whoever is the HOH. So everyone close their eyes. Whoever is the HOH.
everyone who's just like, oh my god. So let's say everybody knows this invisible HOH was Victoria. Everybody knows Victoria thinks she's God's gift to Big Brother. What's her stock? Is it gone up or down? Is she got, can she still win this game? Is it a really tough path?
She can still compete for HOH next week.
Sure.
But like,
what if she wins HOH again?
Like, no, don't win HOH again.
She might
right
You
now.
know?
I am so good at this game.
She's very good.
The little at the end of it. Don't win HOH next week, please. For your sake in this game, don't win HOH.
Well, I guess she would want to get out the survivor of Braden Austin. That would make the most sense, right?
Which Jen and Ty is like, we got to get rid of her because she's winning way too many comps.
Victoria.
Yes, Victoria.
Yeah.
It would have.
Well, yeah,
anyone
because
in the right mind would
Victoria.
have
Well, that's what they to Sean and Jedson. No matter what happens, especially if they have to get all of these girls out just to win comms. Like they're like, we're like, oh, you guys are the big tough guys. You went into the house and yeah, you had to get out this person, this person, this person. And they're like, then we started dominating. Then we showed what we could do. You know, like
There hasn't been an endurance.
I know I can do this. I came here to win comps, and that's what I'm gonna do.
yeah, but I have to work in my social angle.
Yeah. Where's the wall competition? Or the hanging from something competition?
They usually do that, like in the U.S. house. They do that from, like for that last challenge, that second part of the HOH, where they have to go up and down and do the puzzle.
No, but I'm talking about like the wall, like when Helen got pushed out.
Oh
Was
yeah,
BB15.
yeah. The wall where you have to hold on. You mean like
Yeah.
and it moves? I don't know if they ever do that in the Canadian version. Do they?
They usually have people hanging, right? They have like a hanging type of competition where you like have to hold on to something, like you have to hold on to 2 lines and or like you have to hold on to a rope or something. They usually have something along those lines.
Yeah.
Not like a wall, but like I call it the hanging competition so that
You feel like we're due for something like that?
I wouldn't be surprised. And if we are, then most likely a woman is going to win it because I think they did the statistics like 66% of the time it's like women.
So it's not. It doesn't all come down to muscles and upper body strength, because you also
It's
have
also
proportionally
lower
more
sense of
muscle.
gravity. Lower sense of gravity.
Lower sense of gravity is the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tara could win that.
Tara could win that. Well, Victoria. If Victoria wins that, she's too much of a beast.
Would Tara put up Victoria?
I think she would,
Yeah. I think
especially with
she would.
everyone assuming that she's the HOH. Like, why wouldn't you put her up?
Yeah. I think.
Put her
Well,
up
just
and put up
I guess
Braden.
only fear of retaliation would be the only reason to, but not to.
If you get rid of her, then there's no retaliation. Although I think a lot of people believe that they're going to have to backdoor her because of her winning comps.
Well, yeah, I think there's an argument to be made there because you nominate her up front, you gave her a chance to take herself down. However, if she were picked to win the veto, and she won the veto, you couldn't put her up or anybody else if she doesn't want to use it. So you also have to think about that, and so there's just as much of a chance of that happening. Really, well, a little less, but it's still a good chance. So yeah, very interesting. We're gonna see how this plays out. Okay, we're coming up on an hour. That's it in terms of spoilers?
That's it.
Okay.
We'll get into more detail in the veto. Veto's where we'll kind of get confirmation on a lot of things, and we'll see more of the Victoria try to keep her secret hijinks.
Yeah, not so secret, Victoria. Okay,
so secret.
Victoria's secret.
Yes. Big Brother Canada is gonna so lean into that.
Was Victoria's secret still a secret, or can she maintain it, or will it get spicy in the Big Brother house?
Yes. It's like, is her Victoria's Secret catalog easy to read or something along those lines?
Yeah. They got it. They Victoria. If they haven't thought of it already, you're welcome. All right. Okay. Let's sign off for tonight. We'll be back Wednesday night and Thursday night this week, of course. Like we're here every week to cover it and check out our other channels. Until then, have a good night. We'll see you Wednesday.